a team after training camp for the first time in your career. Like, what does that all feel like? How do you feel like that's helping you so far earlier in the season? All sorts of things like that.
It's definitely a great feeling to be on the roster. Just trying to take this moment for granted, or this whole season for granted, and giving everything that I got on the court. So.
Especially after being drafted by this team, did it mean a little bit more to be a part of the 12 and be ready to go on day one?
Yes, definitely a full circle moment for me. Getting drafted in 21 and then getting cut was heartbreaking. I was in Atlanta last summer, and just to come back to where I started just fills my heart up.
Christy's talked about a lot about the role assignment she does. I think she said you did that in Atlanta last year. Did you have one then, and what is it this year? How does that whole process work for every player?
My role has been pretty similar, just, playing both sides of the floor and being able to hit open shots and just being a presence, on the defensive end. That's what I'm known for, so just doing what I do best.
You feel like you've done well with that in these first two games?
I think I've done okay. I know I can do better. Just trying to get used to our rotation and new team, new feeling, new vibes, all of that.
When there's a really up-tempo, a lot of timing elements required offense with a whole new team, how difficult is it for everything to kind of fit together and fall into place when everybody's learning a new system, with a bunch of new players who haven't played together, all sorts of variables at the same time?
It can be very difficult. It can help when you're gelling off the court a little bit. So we're working on some team bonding and just getting to know one another, so that will translate onto the court. But it's definitely a process.
What kind of stuff have you guys done away from the court so far?
I mean, mostly getting food. Mostly getting food is what we do, usually in small groups. But yeah, a lot of time in the locker room. So.
Has Christy been about as you'd expected as a head coach after you saw her up close as an assistant last year?
Yes and no. Last year as an assistant coach and, only being there for 9 games, I didn't get to see a lot of the yelling. But you can tell she's passionate. This is exactly what she wants. She'll yell at you, but we know it's coming from a place of love. And she's everything you could ask for out of a head coach.
You get the good guy as an assistant, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the best of both worlds from Coach Christy.
Pat, anything?
Thank you, man.
Lovely. Oh, okay.
So I met your grandmother and your mother, Pat, at opening night right before the game. They were just waiting outside of the arena.
My auntie.
Yeah. I
My
got
aunt.
them to kind of give you a heartfelt message. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. I saw
I
it.
just wanted your thoughts on that and how that made you feel and what went through your mind when you saw it.
It made me feel very warm inside. I didn't see it until after the game, but my mom, she used the quote, "Champions are champions not because of the extraordinary things that they do, but because of the ordinary things that they do better than anyone else." And I guess while she was saying that on camera, I was texting it to her. And that's something that we had always said before every single game, starting maybe when I was in middle school. So to hear her say that on camera and just to see them motivate me and tell me how much they love me means a lot.
Dedicated on timing elements than maybe your last couple of years were?
What you mean?
Just like someone has to do something at the same time, or cutting has to happen away when something's happening, or is it like this happens, then this happens, then this happens? How much is timing involved in all that?
You would like the first option while I'm cutting, while somebody cutting, I'm feeling. Vice versa, if somebody setting a screen on the backside, there should be a flare happening, stuff like that. So while this is happening, that should be going on too. That's the way I like to play.
When there's a bunch of new players together at the same time and a new system, is that kind of the hardest part, is getting all that to line up at the same moments?
I think, once people individual values line up with what the team wants too, I think that's going to take some time trying to figure out what we all can be great at. Me still learning Christy, me still learning E-Dub, and that kind of stuff takes time, and you got to be patient.
I feel like up-tempo is working for this group in general, the younger team?
Yeah, when we do it, I think that we have a lot of lapses where we don't. For as many points New York scored, there is no reason why we shouldn't be pushing the ball back at them. Granted, we're taking the ball out. It would help if we got the stop, but we could play faster, and I think we're capable of that.
In general, with a style like that, it almost feels like stops are more important because you have to get
Heck
them to run.
yeah.
Have you noticed
yeah.
that correlation yet and the emphasis on that?
Definitely in the New York game. For every shot, for every bad shot we obviously take, every good shot, a person like Brianna Stewart gets, you got to be able to counterbalance it all. And I think for us, get the stop first so that we can be where we're most effective at, and that's running in the transition.
Christy was just telling us about the roles she kind of assigned everybody. What did she tell you yours is?
She told me to be a playmaker, be a scorer, make reads effectively on both ends, and be a leader. So it's a lot to tackle in 1 year, but I'm capable. I think I'll meet those expectations, and hopefully I can, exceed those expectations.
What has stood out to you about Victoria so far? Just making the team as a third-round pick, everything she's done in her month here.
It's been amazing. I think V is a kid that's gonna do what's required, and that makes everyone's life easier. She's where she's supposed to be, and she plays at a high level. V's gonna go and get every rebound, every steal, anything you need her to do. That's what V is, and for her to come into the league like that, I mean, her career is about to be a piece of cake from a mental standpoint, and then the physical is gonna follow easy because she's so willing to go out and do what's needed.